Imagine a cold stretch of space, silent but not empty, haunted. The stars above Icarian Theta burn cold and blue, watching with ancient indifference as the starship Aegis emerges from subspace, her armor plated with battle scars, her crew hardened by a war no one remembers starting. But memory is a fragile thing, and history. History is a weapon. Captain Serin Vale stands on the bridge, tall, dark-jacketed and grim-faced. The air crackles with the tension of secrets too long buried. Before her, the shattered remains of an orbiting archive, an ancient vault station, known only in whispers as the Mind Spire, drift in slow celestial ruin. Unknown to the Council, it survived, and within its fractured databank something stirs, something forbidden. The bridge is quiet, but for the mechanical pulse of systems stabilizing after re-entry. Light from the binary suns glints off debris, and fractured hulls of long-dead ships, a graveyard of knowledge once defended by a race now lost to extinction or purged from the records. Dr. Eva Ryland, the Aegis xeno-archivist, examines a spinning relic through a thick pane of obsidian glass. It's a hand-sized sphere, humming with alien energy, what she calls the archive key. It wasn't made by humans, but it responds to them. Council forces are en route. Her voice whispers through the comms, barely audible beneath the low whine of distant war engines. 15 minutes, maybe less. Vale doesn't flinch. We only need 10. Dr. Ryland descends into the vault chamber beneath the bridge, a cathedral of data coils and crystal conduits. This place wasn't designed for human hands. The curves are too smooth, the air too still, the silence unnerving. Lights flicker like fireflies above terminals, etched with symbols no linguist on Earth ever documented, because Earth, in the current version of history, never rose to prominence. According to the Galactic Council's historical codex, humans were a footnote, primitive, dangerous, irrelevant. Our achievements downplayed, our wars exaggerated, our unity erased. The official narrative painted us as fractured nomads who stumbled into space by accident and never truly belonged among the stars. But the records say otherwise, and Ryland is about to prove it. She steadies her breath and activates the key. A ripple of electromagnetic force spreads through the vault, like the aftershock of a sonic boom. The glyphs around her react, twisting and realigning themselves, forming neural patterns and star charts, layered records of a civilization that spread across the spiral arm thousands of years before the Council's rise. The projections are staggering. A fleet of human dreadnoughts moving in formation across the galactic rim, generational seed ships dispersing into deep space, marked with the old Earth symbol, the double helix encircled by wings, temples of memory carved into moons, pulsars encased in Dyson fragments broadcasting encrypted time logs. This isn't the history the Council allows. And then it hits. Visions not just in images but in sensation. The vault shares the past. The scream of a pilot sacrificing his warship to shield a refugee world. The fiery birth of the Unity Accord, signed in the ruins of old Mars. The rise of the first Terran Primarchs, men and women of iron will and starborn blood who rallied the broken colonies under a single banner. Humanity was not forgotten. Humanity was erased. Back on the bridge, Vale watches the forward scope. Fast movers inbound. 8 Council interceptors, black as vacuum, wings shaped like knives. Behind them, a Leviathan-class cruiser, the Sovereign Flame. Vale knows its reputation. No survivors, no warnings. A ship bred not for war but for obliteration. Shields to maximum. Helm hold position until I say otherwise. His second-in-command, Commander Rhea Darnell, flicks her eyes toward him. We're outgunned 6-1. We always are. Meanwhile, Ryland's voice comes through, layered with awe and fear. Captain, I've got the proof. I've got everything. Every conquest, every invention, every act of defiance and unity. They lied to us, they feared us, so they rewrote us. Vale closes his eyes for half a second. Then we make damn sure the truth leaves this graveyard alive. Suddenly, lights go red. A pulse scans the vault. Council jammers. They've locked. Onto the archive's signature. The countdown begins. Every great journey starts with a few brave explorers. Right now, Galactic War Stories is just beginning, and your support means everything. If you love epic sci-fi battles, deep space mysteries, and the untold stories of the cosmos, hit subscribe. It's free, and it helps us grow this universe together. Outside, the stars shimmer with kinetic detonations. Council fighters begin their dive. The first wave of plasma bursts tears through nearby debris fields. Aegis shakes, her shields groaning under the strain. But inside, Captain Vale stands unmoving. In his hand, he holds the recorded data core, freshly downloaded from Ryland's interface. It weighs more than metal. It carries a burden, one that could ignite revolutions on 1,000 worlds. The truth is no longer buried. It is in his hands. Now he just has to survive long enough to spread it. The war for our legacy has begun. A whisper passes through the silence of space. The breath before the storm. In the void between stars, death arrives not with sound but with motion, clean, deliberate, unrelenting. The Council's ships streak toward the Aegis in tight formation, like hawks descending upon a wounded animal. Their hulls gleam with obsidian plating, layered with adaptive nanocarbon, invisible to most scanners. These are machines of erasure, designed not only to destroy but to leave no trace. Captain Vale watches their approach with an unblinking gaze. Every choice he makes now, every breath, every order, could tilt the balance of the future. One mistake, and the truth they've uncovered will be atomized, erased like it never existed. Below deck, Dr. Ryland scrambles to secure the fragmented data stream as the vault begins to overload. "The key's burning out," she yells, voice ragged through the comms. "These systems, this entire structure, was built to self-terminate if compromised. We only have seconds." The lights around her flicker violently, then shift, white-blue, to violent crimson. The alien architecture is reacting as if sensing the threat. A luminous lattice forms around the spherical archive key, tendrils of light spiraling outward, searching for stable ground. For a moment she stares, mesmerized. Then she sees it, a second lock, hidden beneath the main encryption matrix. Ancient, coded in quantum sequences too complex for any known AI to break. Not just memory, but instructions, blueprints, schematics of something vast, something terrifyingly advanced. "Captain, this isn't just a record," she whispers. "It's a weapon, or maybe something more." On the bridge, Commander Darnell curses under her breath as the Council fighters fan out, initiating a standard envelopment pattern, textbook entrapment maneuver. "They're boxing us in. Cruiser will be in range in 90 seconds. Vale doesn't hesitate. "Engage evasive grid Delta 12. Prepare to deploy countermeasures. If they want a clean kill, let's make them bleed for it." The Aegis pivots hard, rotating its dorsal axis to shield the vault core. Along its sides, magnetically shielded turrets extend and begin to glow with the pulse of charged particles. The first volley bursts outward in a scatter of light, catching one interceptor mid-dive. It spirals flaming into the wreckage field below. But the others don't slow. They know what's on board now, and they know what happens if that truth gets out. Because centuries ago, the Council decided that unity was dangerous. Human history had shown them one undeniable fact. We fight, not for power, not for conquest, but for memory, for truth, for the right to stand and say we were here. After the Galactic Concordance fell, fractured by infighting, AI insurrections, and the collapse, wars, the new regime took power. The high oracles of the Council, descended from a dozen surviving species, declared an age of correction. They destroyed rogue archives. They rewrote planetary records. Even time was remeasured. Post-awakening standard replaced the old Terran calendar. What came before became myth. What humans had accomplished became forbidden. And yet, we endured, hidden in code, in genetic memory, in whispers shared between colony ruins and fringe worlds. Some even say the old Earth still exists, cloaked, in gravitational shadows beyond mapped space, guarding the last uncorrupted archive. Vale knows the stories. He heard them from his father, a resistance scholar who vanished during the orbital purges over Hadros 9. And now, with the data core in his possession, He carries proof that the myth is real. Impact in 20 seconds, Darnell barks. We can't take another direct hit. That cruiser will vaporize us. Vale's eyes flick toward the vault schematic. What's the jump window? Too tight. If we try to escape, they'll track the quantum trail. We can't outrun a flame-class cruiser. Not trying to outrun, he says calmly, just trying to give them something else to chase. Below, Ryland stares as the archive key pulses once more. The hidden lock reacts to something in her genetic signature, her handprint, her breath, her voice. A new sequence blooms across the alien surface. Coordinates, a hidden relay point, a vault, elsewhere. She gasps. It's not the only one. There are others. Dozens, maybe hundreds, scattered across the galaxy. Vale hears the words, and a plan sparks to life. We need to scatter the data, encrypt fragments and launch them, make them chase shadows. Commander Darnell's fingers dance across the terminal. Data buoys loaded, randomized relay codes primed, just say when. The bridge rumbles. Another plasma strike grazes their side. The shields won't hold much longer. Vale nods. Launch everything. Let them try to catch the past. Moments later, the Aegis expels a storm of encrypted memory buoys into deep space, each one slingshotting toward a different star system. Dozens of carriers, each holding fragments of the true history of Earth, of the Terran Empire, of the unity once forged from flame and steel. Some will be intercepted, some destroyed, but a few will survive. And that's all they need. The cruiser begins to charge its main cannon. The energy signature spikes. The end draws near. Vale closes his fist around the core. Prep the jump drive. Darnell blinks. To where? He smiles. Where it all began. And as the Aegis lurches toward an impossible jump, coordinates, buried in legend, hidden even from the Council, the light of the cruiser's weapon blossoms behind them. A race against annihilation has begun. And with it, the war to reclaim the truth. The stars blur, streaking into ribbons of fractured light as the Aegis punches through subspace. The crew is locked into their seats, muscles braced, bones rattling under the gravitational distortion of the blind jump. No charts, no beacon, just a set of raw coordinates encrypted within the archive's alien matrix, coordinates that haven't existed in any official registry for over 500 years. Then, silence. The ship lurches back into normal space with a violent jolt. For a moment, the stars are wrong. The constellations are unfamiliar. The void feels heavier, more ancient, like it remembers things no one else does. And then, they see it, suspended in orbit over a dying red dwarf, cocooned within the ruins of what was once a lunar megastructure, floats a forgotten sentinel. Outpost Theta Red. The station is immense, easily 4 kilometers long, built from layered alloys that predate modern metallurgy. The surface is scarred by centuries of micrometeorite impacts, its solar wings shattered, dangling like broken bones. But its core still pulses, dimly, like the fading heartbeat of something that refuses to die. Dr. Ryland stares from the viewport, her voice barely audible. This place isn't in any council records, not even restricted ones. It's like it was erased before the archives were even digitized. Vale nods, a quiet weight in his chest. Not erased. Buried. As the Aegis docks with the outpost, gravity locks whine into place and the airlock cycles open with a groan that sounds like a ghost exhaling. The crew steps into darkness thick with dust and time. Lights flicker, faint glows from photonic strands woven into the walls, running on backup power that shouldn't still function after half a millennium. They move carefully, weapons drawn, not out of fear of enemies but out of respect. This is a tomb, a shrine, a forgotten piece of who they were. Then they reach the core chamber. It's circular, lined with crystalline servers etched in Terran script. Not alien, not hybrid, but unmistakably human. The architecture is pre-council, pre-war. Symbols of the old unity gleam in faded gold, twin rings bound by a rising sun, once etched on the hulls of the Terran peace fleet. In the center, suspended in a magnetic cradle, is a stasis capsule. Inside lies a human woman, unaged, suspended, can cryo-freeze. Her features are sharp, familiar in the way legends are. On the capsule's surface is a name, Admiral Kira Solon, High Commander of the First Terran Diaspora. Ryland's knees nearly give out. This can't be real. She led the evacuation of the outer colonies before the Concordance collapsed. She died. She was executed during the trials of reckoning. No, Vale murmurs. That's what they wanted people to believe. The data from the Mind Spire confirms it. Solon wasn't executed. She was hidden. Placed in stasis with the last uncorrupted memory beacon, waiting to be awakened if a time ever came when the truth could survive again, and that time is now. As Ryland begins the reactivation sequence, the power grid flickers, then surges. Energy flows back into the station like breath into a corpse. Holographic displays come alive across the chamber. Star charts, war logs, messages of unity and loss and defiance. The truth in its rawest form laid bare, but they are not alone. A spike on the ship's sensors. Vale snaps his gaze to the screen as an alert pulses across the display. No, how did they follow us? Darnell's voice is tight with panic. They must have tagged us with a passive tracer. Probability weave nanite. I should have checked the hull. 2 council ships ripple into real space, smaller than the Sovereign Flame, but built for precision strikes. They deploy drones, black, spheres covered in adaptive camouflage, their AI cores linked to the central mind of the fleet. These aren't warships, they're silencers. Vale turns to his crew. They'll breach the station, erase everything, kill anyone who's seen this. Ryland doesn't flinch. Then we wake her now. The capsule hisses as ancient locks disengage. Mist spills out, swirling like smoke from a funeral pyre. Kira Solon's eyes flutter open, ice blue, sharp, aware. She doesn't panic. She doesn't gasp. She remembers. Her first words cut through the chamber like a blade. How long was I asleep? Ryland steps forward. Over 500 years. The Council won. Solon nods slowly. Not for long. In moments she connects to the outpost's systems. Her neural imprint interfaces with the station's command grid, something no modern AI can override. She accesses long-dormant protocols, ghost fleets, hidden caches, forgotten strongholds spread across the outer rim, waiting for a command that never came. Until now, Vale stares at the tactical display. You're saying there's more of us out there? Solon meets his eyes. Not all who disappeared were destroyed. Some just waited. The Council drones breach the hull, sirens wail, but this time they're not fighting to escape. They're fighting to awaken something greater. The station activates a failsafe, one Solon herself designed centuries ago. A network of quantum-linked beacons ignites, jumping from one hidden node to the next. Not messages, not data. A call, too. The scattered remnants of the Terran legacy. To sleeper cells embedded in fringe worlds, to deep space fleets thought lost to time. The truth is no longer a secret. It's a signal. And across the galaxy, something ancient stirs in response. The Aegis shudders as the station's failsafe detonates in a shockwave of quantum energy, pulsing outward in every direction. A galaxy-wide beacon, a signal that can't be ignored, can't be silenced. The message reaches every hidden world, every starborn fleet, every whispering resistance cell that thought it had long been forgotten. The Council will not be able to suppress this, not this time. In the command center of Outpost Theta Red, the scene is chaos, but there's a kind of focused determination in the air. The hum of the central server is now a rhythmic pulse, an ancient heartbeat syncing with the very core of the Aegis. They're broadcasting to every corner of known space, scattering shards of human history like seeds on the wind. And as Kira, Solon's hands fly over the holographic console, pulling up old data files, old protocols. An army is awakening. Everything we've lost, Ryland whispers, watching the archive streams pour from the station. It's all coming back. Vale stands tall, staring at the massive screens. Each one flickers with the data flood. The Terran fleets, the expansion logs, the ship manifests, the old treaties and wars, everything the Council tried to erase. And at the heart of it all, a question burns inside him. Why? Why go to such lengths to rewrite humanity's place in the universe? It's not about our past, Solon says, her voice steady, echoing across the chamber like a commander calling a fleet to arms. It's about the future. She activates another sequence, and the station shudders in response, slowly, like an old giant awakening from a long sleep. Holographic images begin to form, displaying schematics for enormous ships, weapons of mass destruction, and colossal fortresses hidden deep within planets that no one dares explore. The Council didn't just fear humanity's past, they feared what humanity could become if it was allowed to remember who it truly was. A race that could rebuild itself from the ashes of war, that could unite under impossible odds, that could defy what was written into the stars themselves. You've awakened the sleeper cells, Vale murmurs, piecing it together. But you've also triggered something else. Solon glances at him, the weight of her gaze as heavy as the galaxy itself. I didn't just hide us, Captain. I prepared us. There's a war coming, and it won't just be against the Council, it will be against every false narrative that's ever been written about us. A war for the future. Suddenly, a new signal cuts through the network, a signal that's far more dangerous than they could have imagined. The Sovereign Flame, the massive Council cruiser that had chased them through the void, appears on the tactical display, but it's no longer a lone threat. It's surrounded by fleets, hundreds of ships now in motion, responding to the call for annihilation. The war is no longer just a battle for the truth. It's a fight for the very existence of humanity. Darnell's voice crackles through the comms. They're coming for us, Captain, and they're bringing everything. Solon taps a sequence into the console, her expression darkening as she surveys the incoming enemy forces. Let them come. They'll find we're no longer the broken people they once feared. The Aegis powers up, engines roaring to life with a renewed force. Weapons systems lock into place. The crew braces for impact. But the tension in the air is not just about what's coming. It's about what they're about to do. We can't just run anymore, Vale says, his voice steady, cutting through the thick air. We've got to hit them back, hard. Solon's lips curl into a smile, a rare sight for someone so long out of the fight. I'm not running, I'm bringing the storm. She gestures toward the screen, and a ripple of energy bursts from the Aegis, the first of many quantum disruptors hidden in the station's archives. A weapon designed to destabilize not just shields, but the very fabric of space itself. It's a shot across the bow, a message to the Council that their dominion over history, over truth, is coming to an end. The Sovereign Flame and its fleet approach, and the air crackles with the hum of incoming fire. But Solon stands unshaken, hands clasped behind her back, eyes forward. They want war. We'll give them war. The Aegis leaps into motion, rocketing toward the incoming fleet. Weapons flare with fiery bursts, not just in defense, but in full offensive. The quantum disruptors shatter the enemy formations like a stone dropped into water. Fleets veer away in panic, disoriented by the destabilization of subspace. In the chaos, Vale leads a charge, a series of strategic hits designed to break the Council's blockade. They carve through enemy ships, the Aegis dancing between fire and destruction. Darnell's voice is sharp over the comms, guiding them through the maelstrom. Another strike on their wing. Take it down. The Aegis strikes with fury, a ship no longer fighting to survive, but fighting for its legacy. It's not just a battle for the future. It's a reclamation of the very soul of humanity, a declaration that the Council's lies are no longer sacred. The Sovereign Flame looms before them, its main cannon charging, ready to obliterate them, with one decisive shot. But in that instant, as the cannon fires, Kira Solon does the unthinkable. She orders the deployment of the final piece of humanity's secret weapon, the last of the hidden fleet, still sleeping in the depths of an uncharted system. The Revelation Fleet, an armada of ships as ancient as the stars themselves, their engines powered by technologies long thought lost, their hulls bearing the insignia of humanity's golden age. The fleet emerges from the depths of space like a wave, tearing through the void to the Sovereign Flame's side. The enemy fleet is overwhelmed, cut down by the sheer weight of history and unity. The The sovereign flame fires one last blast, but it's too late. The battle is over. The Council has lost. As the last of the enemy ships retreat, Vale stands beside Solon, gazing out at the wreckage of what was once the Council's most powerful fleet. The void is quiet now, save for the faint hum of distant stars. But the silence is not one of peace. It is the stillness before a new chapter begins. "You've done it," Rylan says, her voice trembling with a mix of awe and disbelief. Solon nods, the weight of what they've achieved settling over her like the mantle of a new age. "No, we've done it. Humanity did it." The Aegis stands victorious in the heart of a shattered galaxy, and as the data streams continue to pulse from the outpost Theta Red, the truth begins to spread across the stars, unfiltered, unchained, and unstoppable. The Council's reign is over, the war is won, but the battle for the future, that's just beginning, and that concludes the story. If you enjoyed this tale, be sure to like, share, and comment below. Your thoughts and feedback are what keep this universe alive and expanding. Don't forget to share this adventure with your friends and fellow sci-fi lovers. The stars are calling, and who knows where our next journey will take us.